Hello, everyone. This is Kimberly Miller, your holistic health expert, and I'm here today with a special guest, Chef Anthony Chilme. Nice to see you, sir.
Hi, how are you?
Yeah, very good. Thank you. I think Anthony and I met close to 8 years ago now. Maybe a little bit sooner than that, but I've known him almost a decade. And years ago, with Whole Lot of Wellness, I did a trial run where I was making meals for individuals to help match their healing goals, whether it was fat loss, nerve pain, fibromyalgia, osteoporosis, multiple sclerosis. I had rented a kitchen for like a year and I did a trial run making the meals for them where they could just pick it up for the week and not have to think. And in the future, we'll have a center that we do all of that. But in that interim, I met Anthony and I was like, I would really love, since you're a chef and this is your gift, for you to kind of take the guidance that I would utilize to teach my clients on how to heal their body and put that into your magic, into your food, and you to help me create meals for people. And we did a little trial run on that back in the day, but we just wanted to kind of test it, and it was not the right timing yet. Well, now is the right timing. And Anthony is launching in his own business. And Anthony, what's the name of your business right now?
Anthony's Organics.
Awesome. And right now you have a Facebook presence, right? A Facebook page where people can go to.
Yes, we have Facebook and Instagram, and we are currently working on our own website. And God willing, it'll be launched probably within a week. We're
Okay.
doing the testing phases right now.
Awesome. Yes. And so that'll be available to us soon. I'm going to share some links with the show notes here because what Anthony has done to make our lives easier. So the average person eats about the same 16 meals per week or per year. They kind of filter through the same 16 meals. And what I have found is some of those meals are inadvertently stalling someone's healing process or making them sick, and they don't even realize it. So I asked Anthony if he could create like a set menu that kind of is aligned with the goals that we would have in helping someone heal, helping them to maintain their vitality, like whether it's blood pressure, cholesterol, nerve pain, all that kind of stuff. Could he kind of match the menu to what people need? So again, they have it easier, they don't have to think. And if they are so fatigued or injured that they can't cook for themselves, that they'd have this available to order. Or maybe a friend or a family member could pick up meals for them and not have to think. They'd actually be donating meals that are conducive to healing. So Anthony's created like a set weekly menu that's available all the time, right?
Yes, eight items are always available, and we're going to open up a like a daily feature or special, so
Okay.
it'll keep it fresh and interesting as well. So, and it gets the creative juices flowing a little bit. So.
Yeah, I love your flank steak with chimichurri, and then I love the ropa vieja, the shepherd's or cottage pie, and then also the meatloaf is excellent. So, what a lot of people don't realize, because there's multiple people making meals, or you can get meals to go from Publix or Sprouts, or again, you can get to go food at any fast food joint. But what's different is, and I'm so glad there's more truth coming out about this now, but most of those are cooked with seed oils, such as canola oil, soybean oil, very inflammatory oils that impact your endocrine system, they impact your nervous system, and they also tend to be high in pesticides. Well, pesticides impact what's called your diaphragm function. They can impact your breathing. They can impact your heart rate. They can also, what I've been seeing a really increase in the last 10 years, individuals are getting a narrowing of their esophagus where they feel like they're going to choke on their food. And they've had to get a procedure done where they stretch their throat, stretch their esophagus. And it's so crazy, but this is most commonly coming from their diaphragm locking up from the pesticide exposure. I can normally help them reverse it by correcting the diaphragm and correcting the diet. But if they don't know this, they're going in for repetitive surgeries to get their throat stretched or choking on their food. And it's primarily coming from the seed oils and the pesticide exposure. And so it's so sad. People will be spending high level money on a steak or salmon or chicken parm, and they won't realize those two factors alone, just the not even just the gluten, would be the pesticide and the seed oils impacting them. So, what I love about Anthony's work, he has vowed and has been willing to cook with more things. Like what are the top oils you use with your cooking?
All right, we're using beef tallow. We're using an organic uh, coconut oil. We're using grass-fed butter,
Hmm.
We're using organic extra virgin olive oil. That's imported from a buddy's farm in Greece, and it's organic as well. Excellent quality. That's about it, really. I mean, just clean oils,
Yeah.
tallow, butter, olive oil, and grass-fed butter. I
No,
said that right.
that's yeah, that no, you didn't. That's amazing. That's literally what I cook with, especially if I'm trying to help someone heal their GI tract. So keeping to those set oils that we had for centuries, we had Rendered's pig fat, they used butter, they used beef tallow. Those are the main oils that we need, and they're again more conducive to proper organ function. Other oils can impact thyroid function, hormones, estrogen dominance. They can impact stress levels and lower testosterone. So if somebody is eating food that is made with, humanely raised animals, like you're sourcing the best meats, you're using the
Yes,
best oils. When you're using any kind of side dish, you're using all organic, like organic potatoes, organic rice.
100%.
Yeah, and so this is where it's different, the quality of how it's prepared, and it's being prepared with intention to give the best possible product and not just to make a sale or just to like make some revenue off of food.
Yes, I mean, I've been in the restaurant industry my whole career, private clubs, city clubs, went to culinary school, the best school in the country, CIA, Hyde Park, New York. So I've been around food a long time. I graduated in 2000 from the CIA.
Wow.
And, so I understand food. I understand that restaurants, they're in business to make money. They're in business to make high profits. And that doesn't always translate in being the best quality foods to eat. My company is different. I mean, yes, I need to make a living, but I'm 100% keyed in on the quality of ingredients.
Hmm.
Everything that I'm touching, I'm looking at. Organic produce, touching it all, looking at it all. I'm partnered up with some of the best companies in local Brooksville, Hernando County, and in Florida.
Hmm.
Providence Cattle Company, Joe over there, excellent guy. He raises grass-fed cattle. In my opinion, it's the best product in the state of Florida.
Hmm.
That he's got it perfected. He understands how to do it well. And Central Florida beef, my buddy Dave over there,
Hmm.
excellent dude, good people. Go see them in Brooksville. They got quality, really high-end beef. That's it on the cattle. And then I have a meat expert, one of the best in the country, Troy Baxter, and he has access to some of the best products around the country as well. So I get chicken, the best chicken I can get my hands on through him.
Hmm.
Um, Good bones, good chicken product, good produce, good spices down to the peppercorns are organic in nature, everything.
Hmm.
So I mean, it's good for you food. It's nourishing.
Yeah.
Trying to change the word eat to nourish. And I
Yeah.
think if people look at that, that's a pretty profound statement, I think. Replace the word eat with nourish. And I think that's a feel good kind of statement.
Yeah, and just to share a little bit of science and thoughts about this. So, something that we don't realize, the definition of diet is your habitual form of nourishment. So, some people's habitual form of nourishment or lack thereof is impacting their cellular health, impacting their organ function, and the body is creating symptoms to let them know, like, hey, your check engine light's on because you're getting the wrong fuel, you're not getting enough oil, you're not getting water. And so, the way that I've worked with you and we've worked together to create these meals is to increase their amount of nutrients that they're ingesting and decreasing the additives, the pesticides, the mycotoxins. So the things that people are unknowingly consuming that is impacting them in their health, you're omitting all that so that they don't have to think about it. So yes, you do have to make some kind of living and revenue, and you do deserve to make a profit, to not be stressed all the time when you're helping the rest of us heal. But I can tell you, in order for my daughter and I to get a real meal, we can go out for two of us, not even get appetizers and dessert, and it's a minimal of $50 to $100 if we're going to like a really awesome,
Easy.
like farm to table or home cooked. And they're not even promising that they're not using seed oils and they're not always using humanely raised meat or grass fed or organic. But we're willing to pay it because it's still amazingly, it's like quality food, but it's not to the level that you're taking it. So any meal that I've had from you has been absolutely excellent. You can kind of taste the love and the effort. but it's not just about that. It really is based solely on science. I should say science and soul, where we're focusing on the good spiritual intentions and the physical intentions. Because, like, for example, you helped me help a few people in the hospital. One being your mother-in-law that we'll be doing a podcast on soon. She was in diabetic coma and kidney failure. And as soon as she got the ability to start eating, I'm like, we have to get her homemade broth. We have to get her these foods into the hospital for her to have a chance at recovering because she was really right on that edge that she was either going to make it or not going to make it. And thanks to your amazing broth and your willingness to make it quality, it drastically helped her turn around. And then we were able to get her good food in there, homemade
Yes.
smoothies. And then I don't know if you remember, I just had another client that had to go into the hospital, like more of a friend that I don't always get to work with, but again was in a chronic issue. And just his wife having your meals available completely changed their stress levels because she could bring the food. And then also, he had zero appetite or taste for food. And when he had your food, he was like, oh, this tastes so good. And it actually feels nourishing versus like we just picking up something quick to go from one of our restaurants, you know?
I got goosebumps because they sent me a picture of him and he was in the hospital and he didn't look well, but he had a smile on his face. And
Yeah.
I can't get that vision out of my head. I mean, it's locked in there and it just solidified what I'm doing. You know, when I saw that picture and healing my mother-in-law, I mean, she's thriving right now for the most part.
Hmm.
Where, 9 months ago, we didn't know if she was going to make it or not,
No.
So, I cook for folks like I'm cooking for my family, literally like I'm cooking for my family. They're eating the same stuff. And my family, we're all doing well. We feel good. And sorry, I'm getting a little emotional actually.
No, you're okay.
That's
Yeah, no, you're
funny.
starting to
No,
reverse things for your own family that, when you're busy working as a chef for everybody else, a lot of people don't realize, just like the shoemaker's family doesn't have shoes, when you're a chef and you're working as an employee and you're helping other businesses, you love it, but sometimes you don't get to come home and cook for your own family. So you making this transition, helping to serve the public and you making your own food in alignment where God and nature has guided us, and now your family's getting to nourish with that too. Like it's going to bless all of us all the way around. Your family's going to be healing and continuing to get healthier and healthier. The community is going to get healthier. You're making my life a hell of a lot easier because when I have someone in the hospital, sometimes I'm trying to make broth or I'm trying to buy this. There's only one broth on the entire market that I recommend, unless you can find it at like a health food store. Some people make homemade organic broth. But if I don't have time to make broth, or the client's too sick to make their own, or they're too intimidated, the only other one I buy in the market is called the Bonafide Provisions one. But again, it's like $10 to $13 per serving. And it's not always available. Like we used to have it local, and each of the stores are starting to omit it, or it's like only at Sprouts or only at Whole Foods.
yes,
Well, not everybody has that access in our area. So when you made the broth for us to get to people in immediate issues with their GI tract or COVID, it was just such a huge blessing because people don't realize when your cells are struggling, they need as much nutrients as you can get in, unless you're kind of in that. Like sometimes you'll have the flu and you can't eat for a little bit. But when you're back to nourishing, you need nutrients, not additives. And this shit broth on the shelves that can sit in a carton for 2, 3 years, there's barely no nutritional value. So you'll think that you're eating and drinking broth and then wonder why you're not getting better. And it's because the nutrients are almost null and void in those broths compared to somebody that's making homemade from good bones, good organic ingredients. Like, what do you feel about your broth that you've been making?
as mentioned, I buy my bones from Central Florida Beef. Dave over there, really great product.
Mhm.
His bones, I cook them out for 48 hours with organic aromatics, organic spices. I'm using culinary French techniques,
Mhm.
putting a lot of love into it. And what's important for me is flavor. It's got to taste good.
Yeah.
I'm a chef. We want things to taste good.
Yeah.
Funny story. I bought some of that Bonafide provision from Sprouts. They had it on sale, and I gave it to my wife as a blind tasting. She wanted some broth. I heated it up, gave it to her in a cup. I'm kind of looking at her, and she's drinking it and looking at me funny, like she's like, "What's what?" And I'm like, how is it? She's like, oh, it's good. I said, seriously? She's like, no, it's terrible. What happened to this? Thinking it was my broth.
Yeah,
She
yeah.
like instantly could tell it wasn't the same thing, and I
Hmm.
wanted to see if somebody could tell the difference. And I just thought that was a funny story to share. But yeah, I put a lot of love into it. Beef bone broth to extract all the nutrients is a 48-hour labor of love.
Hmm.
Um, Monitoring it and caring for it. Chicken broth is about a 24-hour labor of love to actually make it and process it. So I'm not going to give away all the little tricks of the trade,
No, no, no.
because,
Yeah.
but you know, I make it just like you would make a French demi-glace in a lot of
Hmm.
ways. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Yeah.
Demi-glace is basically a beef stock bone broth that's reduced down and concentrated, and then thickened with a roux. And then if you want to make glace d'Evian or glace d'Evoli, that's another French term. It's reduced down to almost gelatin, and
Yeah.
that's basically a homemade base that you would use to flavor sauces. Any high-end French restaurants would be using that.
Yeah,
But
you're not using bouillon cubes. Yeah.
exactly, everything, nothing is coming out of a can.
No
No
MSG.
cheats, no MSG,
Right.
no soy-based hydrolyzed whatever stuff.
Yeah.
It's good for you food. It's ancient nutrition. It's
Hmm.
medicine as far as I can tell. I can tell, and it's better tasting than Robitussin.
Yeah,
So
amen. Yeah, and it's better working than any of that too, because your body needs
exactly,
nutrients, not chemicals to heal.
exactly.
So now, where did you work at overseas as like an externship again? What happened with that after graduation?
Yeah, so I worked for the Black Forest Inn. Hi, everybody, if you're watching that.
Hmm.
This over there, they're in New Jersey. German chefs really took me under their wing when I was a teenager.
Hmm.
And Heinz Eichem, who owned the business, and Heiner was his son. Heinz worked at the Savoy Hotel in London.
Ah,
So he recommended me to work there. I was at the CIA going to college, had to do an externship, so I chose London.
uh-huh.
They accepted me to work there, and I worked. I was on the low end of the totem pole.
Hmm.
Worked for 70 chefs from around the world, really demanding highest end. This is a very historic hotel, one of
Hmm.
the oldest in London. If anybody knows anything about cooking, the father of modern cuisine, Escoffier, worked there with Cesar Ritz, who from the Ritz Carlton fame
Wow.
opened up the Savoy Hotel in the early 1900s. So got to work in this very historic, very high demanding, very high quality environment. And then after that, graduated the CIA in 2000. Spent the majority of my career here in Florida, working
Mhm.
for high-end city clubs, the Tampa Club, the Center Club in the West Shore, Tampa. Worked for Specialty Restaurants Group for a few years. So I worked for Southern Hills Country Club over here in Brooksville. So I
Hmm.
spent a lot of time in my career working at really high-end places. But what I'm doing now is it's even more rewarding than working doing Lachine dinners and doing wine dinners and humidor dinners and cooking for all those folks. What I'm doing is I'm healing people with food,
Hmm.
and you know, food is medicine. You are what you eat. Somebody said that. I don't know who the author is unknown, whoever said that, but
Yeah.
it's very true. You are what you eat.
Hmm.
And what I'm doing right now is like the peak of my career as far as I'm concerned. I'm enjoying it immensely, and seeing people feel better through good nutrition is it's just awesome. I can't wait to keep doing it.
No, and I'm so grateful for that. When you say the CIA, I'm like, man, he graduated from the Central Intelligence Agency also. Or no, he's not a CIA agent. It's a
No, the Culinary Institute of America, which is like the Harvard of culinary schools in America.
That's
It's
amazing. Yeah.
right on the Hudson River. Look it up. In fact, if you go to my website when it's launched, there's a tab you can see the CIA campuses right from the website. So it's kind of cool.
Okay, I'm
But
going to share a couple of tips and thoughts. So when you were mentioning the bona fide provisions taste, yes. So when I let's say I had to make that in a rush for a client. I like to mix beef and chicken broth together to get the values of each minerals. So I would mix the two together and I would actually simmer it at home with parsley and onions and garlic and carrots before I delivered it to the person, and some extra salt to help them with the sodium that they needed. Because contrary to popular belief, actually most people need sodium for healing, not no salt, because if you don't have sodium, you die. But as a whole, and if you have too low of sodium, you can actually have chronic edema. So it's sometimes the opposite. Some people think they don't need salt to reduce water retention, and other times it's actually the opposite thought. But where I'm going with this is I would have to go through all that to make it taste better. Even though it wasn't bad, it was just bland. And so people that have food aversions or aren't feeling well, if it's very bland, it sometimes doesn't help, especially if they're having nausea, like maybe they don't want to drink it because it's not helping with that. But with your broth, I've had nothing but phenomenal feedback. Like it's the best broth that they've ever had. And what I do, like, let's say somebody feels it's odd to just drink like a coffee cup of broth. What I might do is I might just quickly throw in some ground beef, chop up some
Yep.
potatoes and onions and make it like a version of a vegetable beef soup. Or I might even boil their potatoes in the chicken broth and they have the potatoes with the broth as like a snack. So there's lots of ways they can either drink the broth naturally, straight up as it is for healing, like instead of like someone just sipping on hot tea or coffee, they can sip on that broth. And me personally, even with your broth, I'll take the chicken and beef and combine it together and I'll drink a cup. I really need some today, actually, as a preventative measure. But I use it not only as a preventative measure and for healthy minerals and collagen production, but also if someone is diagnosed with COVID, the flu, anything like that, I definitely recommend that they have the broth as one of the core of their diet. When someone has a GI flare, a gastrointestinal flare, broth is one of the best things to help with gut healing, and it's the most conservative. It's like the least invasive to impacting the intestinal wall. So one thing I want to highlight, because I know you're going to go through this in the future, and it's hard. Anthony's a chef, so he loves to be creative and he loves to serve the public need. But what him and I discussed is that the public has access to all the, and I don't mean this disrespectfully, but to all the shit food out there. They have access to all the seed oils in the world, all the same chicken parms, all the same, steak and cheese sandwiches and fried chicken strips. What they don't have access to is the quality meals that are organic and no seed oils that keep them from having to think so much about how to eat well. So even though Anthony wants to serve the public, whether they're vegan or carnivore, whatever it is, what he's attempting to do is stay in line with authenticity and a set of core values that help people eat awesome food without disordered eating, without fads, without accidentally going too far right or too far left, or getting confused on what's actually healthy. And we've had so much misinformation as to what's healthy that even healthy people aren't able to heal themselves anymore, or they're going to a physician over and over and over, getting the wrong information and not realizing that it's that food that looks like it's healthy, but it's actually not right for them. So Anthony's trying to keep his plates like a 35, 35, 30, like 35% protein, 35% carbs, 30% fat to keep it balanced in cost and nutrition. And again, to kind of match what the body scientifically needs. There are times that some people might need a little bit more fat or protein, but if he makes the meal like only carnivore, you're going to be looking at a higher price meal because that's the highest cost of the thing. And it's not as balanced for like families. Like if we think back, like my great grandparents lived until their 90s, they knew nothing about nutrition. Primarily, their food was generally organic back in the day because we didn't have half the pesticides we had today. And their plate was half meat, a little bit of starch, and a little bit of veggie. It was just a balanced plate. And they didn't have to get on the scale every day. They didn't have to check their blood sugar every day. They didn't have a lot of these degenerative diseases we have today. Like when I teach in the fitness industry and I ask everybody to raise their hand on who knew their great grandparents, many of them will tell me that they lived till their 80s or 90s and that most of them didn't have a hip replacement, a knee replacement, a back surgery, and many of them thrived until the last year or so of their life, like when they're at 80 and 90. So what's happening to us today that we have 40-year-olds that already have 5 surgeries on their back, their knees, without even like a catastrophic event, just like their joint giving out or their spine degenerating so early. one of the greatest common factors is we don't understand food and we have a poor relationship with food, or we've been educated, given misinformation on what is healthy and what is not. And we've been kind of taught to do more and eat less. Like food's an afterthought. We may not even need that. And really, the core to how our cells work is based on the nutrients that we're consuming. We have to have a certain amount of fuel and a certain type of fuel for these organ systems to work correctly. So although Anthony wants to serve and please everybody, if he does do what everybody else is doing, his authenticity goes away. The person still doesn't get healthy because if everybody's just eating what they want to eat, then they end up with the same consequence of that choice, you know? And that's why we teamed up between Healing with Excellence, a lot of wellness, and referring to Anthony because his food is just amazing and it's following those values and it's what God and nature intended for us to have like 100 years ago before we had all these conveniences of grocery stores and nutritionists and all that. If we could not get to a grocery store, we would have never had access to those seed oils or these non-organic foods. Now we have just enough choice and confusion that we can really screw up our nutritional choices and keep ourselves sick or in pain inadvertently just because we don't know this information. Does that make sense, or how does that resonate with you, Anthony?
You know, there's without sounding cliche, there's a saying, you want to be the change you want to see in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, there's nothing, I mean, let me rephrase that. There's just not a whole heck of a lot of options out there to eat
Mm-mm.
well when you're out on the road. I
No.
mean, I'm a chef my whole life, and typically we don't eat healthy. You know, we've had
Right.
many discussions about this. I'm working 12 to 15-hour days on my feet, burning calories all day long, and wolfing down something over a trash can for 30 seconds and moving on with my day. And then when you get out of work, you're starving. Your body's like, so
Mm-hmm.
what do? You stop and grab that fast food meal. This was historically speaking. I don't do this anymore. Very rare, you know. But a few weeks ago, you know, I was working very, very long hours, hungry, didn't eat well that day. You know, I do my best to stay on top of it. But this particular day, life got the best of me. I was on the road. I'm like, I got to eat something or I'm going to come home hangry.
Mm-hmm.
So I stopped at a fast food restaurant, you know, one that I don't typically frequent. Get a cheesesteak sandwich, French fries, and a beverage.
Mm-hmm.
It cost me almost $22. And I took a bite of it and I practically spit it out because it was just not good for
Yeah.
$22. My price point is right in line for around $24 for
Yeah.
something 100% organic.
Yeah.
So it was almost like, you know, a reality check for me to see that and put it into perspective. It's like the food I'm putting in a box and all the love I'm putting into it. Um, why didn't I bring myself a box that day? I don't know. That's yet to be seen why I didn't do that. But I guess eating a crappy cheesesteak sandwich with cheese whiz, no real recognizable veggies, and the meat tasted like it was soaked in some kind of soy product.
Mm-hmm.
It just hydrolyzed, whatever crap. It just didn't taste real. It didn't taste authentic, and you're paying premium dollars for it. You know, you go to like fast food nowadays, you're not paying fast food prices anymore. You're paying a
Mm-hmm.
premium for this stuff. A family of four, if we went down the street to a fast food restaurant, you're spending $100 easy, you
Yeah,
know? So
especially if you get any extras. Yeah, no, I've spent just with like sandwiches and a water, we've spent literally $30 with just two burgers or something. It's crazy. And
it's crazy.
one place 10 years ago, I called to order four burgers to go, just four burgers, nothing on the side. It was going to be $40 and a 40-minute wait. I'm like, what? I can make four burgers at home, grass-fed organic for well under. I'm like, never
Yes.
mind. I'll go home and make them in 20
Yes.
minutes and not spend $40 and still make them organic. And so people think that it has to be more expensive or more time consuming, but really it doesn't have to be that way. And if I told you a few weeks ago that I was out with my daughter and we try to eat in line with our values, one, because I shouldn't say we try, we do eat in line with our values, but just like you, we're human. If we're out and we're out longer than normal, I know it's better to eat than not eat because I could cause some kind of problem if I'm getting malnourished. Or, different people have different sensitivities with blood sugar. So we went to a health food store that has a cafe, and we were just trying to get the best possible option because, again, sadly, with my education and knowledge, I've learned that what looks healthy isn't always healthy. And this is how I was struggling years ago with chronic Epstein-Barr virus, chronic sinus infections, lymphatic issues, heart issues. I was eating healthy, but didn't realize that these seed oils were in the food, the canola oil, and that like sometimes when you order salmon, it's actually colored with a paint swatch, like they're injecting the color into it. So it wasn't really healthy salmon. So we went to this health food store. The only thing on the menu that I could get that was even close to what I would eat to be vital was chili. It was not organic, and a cup of chili was $10. I could have literally, again, it was probably a little bit better quality, but I could have went to Wendy's for probably a $3 chili and still be kind of close to the same chemical makeup. Because I'm like, this isn't
Yeah.
organic. It's so I message him like, Anthony, you've got to have your meals available more often to where I can drive by, pick up your meal, and I don't care if I look like an animal eating it going down the road as long as I'm safe driving. But I just feel like it's so sad that we can't go out in the middle of the day and have a same meal that I would cook at home at any local restaurant. I can't go get something where I would cook it with butter or olive oil. Everything has got a cheaper version. And once you start eating this way and you see how amazing real food tastes, your body can't stand the taste of those additives that it used to be
Yep.
addicted to. It doesn't
Yep.
want hydrolyzed protein and soybean oil. You can actually taste this weird film
Yep.
on your mouth.
Yep.
I mean, I used to literally
100%.
get a sausage, I mean, McDonald's egg McMuffin every day when I was younger because it was low calorie.
It's
When I tried to
awful
go
now.
back to that one day, I had a weird coat on my mouth literally the whole day. It was disgusting. So once you see how different food tastes, you just want to nourish your body differently.
What I notice with myself and my family, because we're all eating very healthy, when we do cheat, if we do cheat and we get a
Hmm.
fast food meal, we feel terrible.
Hmm.
We actually regret it. My 13-year-old son, my 16-year-old daughter, they they acknowledge they're like, this is not good. They don't feel well. It's like it might taste good. I call it tasty poison, that stuff,
Yeah.
because it's just designed to hook you and designed to addict you and
Hmm.
designed to make you want more of it.
Yeah.
And but it's all poison.
No,
Um,
there's two books that helped me. Well, two things. The movie Food Inc. helped me with realizing where I put my dollars to really control supply and demand, and that certain fast food companies really control the quality of some of our products on the market. So Food Inc. helped me with how to invest into better quality, humanely raised meat and food. And then there's this book by David Kessler that used to work for the FDA, and it's called The End of Overeating. And what I learned from that book is he explained that how the food is treated and marinated before it gets to the average restaurant, that they're putting specific fake sugars and fake additives to heighten the salt, the sweet, and the fat taste because that keeps you addicted. And it might look healthy, like it's grilled chicken, margarita grilled chicken over beans, that you think you're eating this grilled chicken, but you don't know that that grilled chicken was put into a tub, beat up, stabbed with like little forks to tenderize it, and then marinated in MSG and all these chemicals, soybean oil before it got to the grill. So then when the cook is putting that grilled chicken on the grill, he might not even realize that it's got these additives in there. And you're eating
yes.
this chicken and wondering, why do I still feel like crap? Why am I not losing weight? I did when I had to go out yesterday and I was stuck out for like 3 hours. I got a single burger to go from the best burger place you could get it at with just ketchup and mustard, pickle, no mayonnaise, none of that. Literally, you and I are doing the fat loss group for Vitality because I'm teaching people how to lose weight in a healthy way and through good food. I went up 3 pounds in the scale just from inflammation from that one thing. I did not overeat. And again, I'm at a very healthy weight. This is more to try to teach my clients and to lead by example. But just to share with individuals, some people don't know that a pound of body fat is 3,500 calories. So if you go up 3 pounds in a day, I did not eat 10,000 extra calories yesterday. It's because I was swollen with water and inflammation due to eating that food that I could tell.
It's insane.
I could tell the bun was cooked with a seed oil. I know that it wasn't organic and it had pesticides. And again, when I'm sharing this, guys, this isn't to scare you guys of all food. There is ways to eat out and still heal that many of my clients use. We just eat like less gluten products, less fried foods, more meat, potatoes, fruits, vegetables, and I teach them how to survive and thrive. but it's 10 times more difficult because of how the food has been altered. And some people believe that they're incurable because they've done all these unique diets, but they don't realize there's been specific puzzle pieces missing to their healing. And it's not that they haven't been working hard, it's just someone gave them the wrong map. And what I love about your food, it's helping reduce that stress for the people that are able to get your food. So I'm just grateful that you've been willing to take this leap and helping make people's lives easier and helping me, especially when people are in the hospital. It makes my life easier knowing that I have your broth and different things available that I don't have to figure out how to rush and get it or make it myself because I don't always have 48 hours to do that ahead of time. It might be an emergent situation. And now you've had broth pretty much on hand most of the time that I can call you,
Yes.
or I keep some on hand at my business. So when people come to visit me, if they want some, I can give it to them while they're here.
I have it packaged in a way where we can ship it nationwide as well.
Okay,
So
good, good.
I have that ability to do that. So if we have people that are in desperate need for it, to me, it's the best product on the market. You
Yeah.
know,
Oh, no, I know. Everything's
I'm
getting,
not, and I'm not looking to be, talking high about myself, but I know what I'm putting into it. The love that's going into it. So,
no, and the
um,
quality, we deserve to talk high about it because as long as we're authentic, that's the key. And we need to meet, like what you said, we got to be the change we wish to see in the world. And if we can teach individuals how amazing they can feel by what they choose to nourish their body with and what they choose to make their habitual form of nourishment, it's so worth it because right now we are struggling. We have the sickest developed country in the world. We have the highest infant mortality rate before the age of 1. We have 2/3 of Americans that are overweight or obese. And this is not because people like to fail. It's because they're getting the wrong ecosystem, the wrong information, the wrong dieting information. And we actually need food to fuel our metabolism and to burn body fat and to heal bones and nerves. Not eating and all these new fads that are out, maybe in the 16th century that might have worked, but that does not work in this century with the stress that we're dealing with and the toxins we're exposed to. We need specific nutrients to help our liver, our kidneys, our heart work effectively. And what you're doing, I know you're early on in this career and in this change, not into being a chef, but in this passion. But what you're doing is going to make a drastic change, especially for our local community. And I can't wait to see what it does for the national community.
no, thank you. I appreciate it. You inspire me every day. So, I want to keep doing what I'm doing and make you proud.
No, and thank you so much, Anthony. Those of you listening, we will be having some specialty like workshops in the future, praying that we have like a farm to table event. There's lots of stuff that's coming. We're just going to wait to see how it all unfolds. But in the short term, I'm going to have links on how you can order from Anthony. You can pick up, is it twice a week now that they can pick up food?
I mean, for the most part, yes, there are exceptions.
Mhm.
So just reach out, ask a question. If I can get it to you, I'll get it to you. I got some folks that I'm delivering to because they have that need and I have the time and the ability to do it. So certainly ask, email me, say hi, and if we can get some food in your hands, we'll do it.
Awesome. And if any of you that are working with Anthony or myself that you need a little bit help with customization on how to make the meals work for your goal, whether it's for fat loss or healing or something else like energy for even a sporting event coming up, just message us. We'll work together to figure out the game plan and help you with how you would utilize his meals to get the right nutrition for you to hit the actual goal that you're trying to achieve. But we appreciate you guys and helping us make a difference in the world. Thank you again, Anthony, for being here. And I look forward
Thank
to
you.
sharing more with you guys on my next podcast. Have a beautiful day.